talk this.
It's dangerous to podcast alone.
I'm your bright and early chipper host, Madelyn.
I'm your bright and early not-so-chipper host, Emma.
And thanks for tuning in to this week's side quest episode. We're here. I'll do the intro since Emma is she's asleep. We're editing out her snores. On this side quest, we'll be talking about what we've played this week, our save data, the weather, but not literally, the traffic, also not literally, the off-topic corner, and our question of the fortnight. We'll have some exciting side quest announcements in the off-topic corner, so if you're usually a listener who just tunes in for our save data and then says, the weather, I can just check my phone for that. You'll want to stay tuned.
Yes.
So, I guess Emma and I were talking a little bit about what we played this week. And
a little bit.
I mean, we've been talking throughout the past 2 weeks, as we don't actually only talk for the 50 minutes of the podcast.
I know, it's shocking.
We're not that dedicated to our craft. Saving all the good conversation for the mic. I should start saying that, though. It's like you're texting me about it, and I'll be like, save it for the mic.
I can't stop texting you about Fire Emblem, though.
So, we're gonna have me go first, so that you all can brace yourself for this 4-hour episode where Emma talks about the unhealthy amounts of Fire Emblem that she's been playing.
I need 10 minutes to talk about how proud I am of each of the students. So
10 minutes per student.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
So, I'm gonna go first. First of all, I finally finished. I almost forgot about this because technically it did not happen in this 2 weeks, but it happened somehow, even though we record live on Sundays at noon, after we recorded the podcast last side quest. I finished Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, it's exciting.
What a frickin' letdown.
What does happen at the end? Is it just like, and then we'll do this more next time, roll credits, or?
Well, no. It's somehow kind of worse than that.
Okay.
So, spoilers for, you know what, I would have been kind of pissed if someone had spoiled the end of this game for me while I was playing it.
Okay, you don't have to say it then.
No, I will. I'm just saying, everyone, fair warning, spoilers now for game, I don't even know how old Assassin's Creed is. 10-year-old game, minimum, 12, something like that.
Yeah.
Year-old game, Assassin's Creed. We talked about it on the show, so, because that's why I started playing it.
Yeah.
Boy, that's sad, because we talked about it on the show a very long time ago.
It's okay. It took you less time than Persona 5, so.
It is not as long a game as Persona 5 by a long shot, even though it is too long. Anyway, it's at least 10 years old, so I don't feel that bad. So at the end of Assassin's Creed, you, as your ancestor assassin, Altair, aka the assassin who never learned how to emote with his voice.
Right.
I don't know, I literally don't know how they found a voice actor this disinterested.
Maybe that's the choice, though.
You and Clickbait Boyfriend have said that to me, and I don't think so.
I mean, I haven't heard it in context, so I don't have any sort of fair opinion, but...
Anyway, you're going to kill the last guy of the Crusaders. You meet Richard the Lionheart. He has the two of you, duke it out in a duel. You also, you're trying to, you then realize, oh no, my master is evil, which I realized roughly 20 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Well, in playtime, that's what it felt like. And so you have to go. You realize your master has the Jerusalem treasure. The fact that I can't remember the names of any of these things anymore is really telling.
The MacGuffin.
Yes. The Jerusalem MacGuffin. And he's going to use it for bad things.
Mm-hmm.
And so you go and you defeat him, and then you come out of the Animus, and your assassin friends are trying to break you out, but they're slaughtered, seemingly.
Okay.
However, you discover that the lady who has been sort of friendly to you and helping with the experiments the whole time seems to be on your, maybe is also an assassin.
Oh.
But she leaves with the other guy, and then you realize you can, and I'm not sure if you could have seen these the whole time because I did never test it, but if you use your little eagle sight, you can see there are all of these Crusader or not, or Illuminati or whatever, like, writings on the floor.
Oh.
And that's it. You're still stuck. They're gonna come back to kill you. You didn't
What
never
a
get
tease.
You never get to assassinate the doctor with the pen that I so carefully filched from his pocket.
Maybe next time.
Clickbait Boyfriend was sort of implying that maybe that would happen next time, but we'll see.
As long as it happens sometime.
If I don't stab this man with a pen, I don't care who kills him, just like a casual, like, thigh. What have I suffered through this game for? Anyway, I enjoyed Assassin's Creed. It was probably 2 or 3 assassinations too long. Got a little repetitive. But I'm looking forward to, after a break, coming to Assassin's Creed 2 for my long-delayed pen stabbing.
Nice.
We also, I'm trying to think, I have a lot of gameplay to talk about too, so this is going to be a long save data this week maybe, but I started Yakuza 0. So I was realizing that I wasn't, I need to get back to Nier, but I'm trying to navigate how to play that, and I think I've bullied Clickbait Boyfriend into letting me play it in front of him, because I'm never here by myself. But no, he's going to be out of town again next week, so I can hopefully try to blaze through a bunch of it while he's gone. So stay tuned for that on a split screen coming soon. However, I started Yakuza because I realized I had actually worked through a lot of my backlog of single-player games that I was playing. So started that. Really only played the first hour or so, but loved my karaoke. There's a lot of what we've started to call big friendship energy.
Yes.
Happening.
Yakuza is big friendship energy, the game, so
that means I'm gonna have to play a lot of it because, yeah, my gaming partner is now craving big friendship energy in all of his media. So, like, yeah, they were, like, having their conversation about, like, their idols and, like, male idols and, like, female, it was just, and, like, going to an idol concert together. It was like, boys, you're in the Yakuza, tone it down. But also, like, oh man, I don't know, what's my name?
Kiryu?
Yeah. Kiryu, who's just like, there's just a random tourist who comes up to him on the street, and he's like, y'all, listen to what this guy has to say.
Yeah.
Like, thank you. So there's just a lot of big friendship energy happening. And I think I did a good job at karaoke. I got some kind of achievement for it.
Nice.
So, go me.
Yeah, go you.
But looking forward to seeing what happens when the Yakuza have me murdered for murdering that guy.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned, listeners.
Maybe you will stab them with a pen in Yakuza.
That would be a crossover twist. An homage, maybe.
Homage.
I think that those are the only games I played truly by myself. So that brings us to Emma and I got trials of PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
So that we could play online.
Yes. Because I got Wolfenstein Youngblood, which felt like something we needed to play because it has sisters, right? So.
I mean, honestly, when is the what video game can you ever think of that has been about sisters? Can you think about any?
No. I mean, especially not ones where you can, like, play as both the sisters. You know? I'm sure there are video games where people have sisters, but, like...
So, I'm trying to think, and I'm only just thinking of this because it's on your games thing, but Tales from the Borderlands does feature 2 sisters.
It does.
Playable sisters.
Yeah.
But they are, I was trying to think of, have I even seen sisters in a game who could even, on an outside whim, be considered protagonists together.
Yeah.
And that is the one that comes to mind.
Yeah, I can't really think of anything else off the top of my head either.
Hey, listeners, if you have played any games that feature great pairs of sisters...
Let us know. We'll do a sister series.
Seriously. So we played it now twice for, like, a total of, like, 3 hours.
Yeah. 3.5 hours-ish.
Yeah. Which means that we have made the progress that an average player of these games would probably make it an hour and a half.
We had some difficulties.
It helped greatly for us to turn the difficulty down from normal, which is for experienced players,
Yeah.
down to casual, which is for, like, average players.
Yes. I had sort of forgotten that Wolfenstein has that more, like the difficulty is scaled harder naturally, and then you can turn it up way a lot, too.
Absolutely not.
Like, I remembered, like, they don't have, like, the mean, like, portraits like they do in New Colossus, where, like, if you turn it all the way down, he's like a baby.
Oh, I forgot that was Wolfenstein.
Yeah. Like, it has a lot of options, but that one was a little mean about it. This one just has, like, an option in the menu that you can turn it up or down. I don't know what it goes up to. It goes down to easy. We're playing on casual.
Yeah, it was interesting to me that casual was above easy.
Yeah.
I guess in meaning that makes sense, but I've grown to associate casual with being the lowest difficulty setting.
Well, because that's what, like, in Fire Emblem, right?
Right.
Like, classic or casual.
I guess it's because you have been just leech seeding me with Fire Emblem content.
But, well, it's been fun. It's been fun to play together, because we're both, like, not great at it. And the story is, like, there, but luckily it doesn't matter too much, because Madelyn's always about 5 seconds behind me in cutscenes for some reason.
It just lags. So yeah. Emma got the game with the buddy pass, so I don't actually own Wolfenstein. I think this is a cool thing. I think it's cool that they did that.
Yeah, I think so too. You have to buy the deluxe edition, and then you get the buddy pass, but that means that you can just, if they download the trial version of it, they can play with you through your game.
Which itself, figuring out how to set this up did take like 20 minutes, but...
We figured it out, though.
Yeah. I did make my Bethesda account.
Yes.
Which has itself become a bit of a meme this week, hasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, if anyone wants me to play Doom, I can.
Probably as soon as we're done with this, I'll just be deleting my Bethesda account, but, you know.
Emma, they're a local business.
I mean, true enough. I just don't like having, like, lots of separate accounts, you know?
That's fair. I finally started to enjoy Wolfenstein, I think, during our second session.
We figured it out a little better.
The first boss battle was just really played to all of the things that I am especially bad at first-person shooters.
Yeah.
Like, I can do it, semi-competently when I have, like, unlimited areas to kind of, like, run and hide, and I can find more ammo easily, and there's, like, space for me to heal, and also I can see my enemies.
Yes.
And I do feel like giving me a cloaked enemy as the first boss was maybe not fair to me personally.
He was, like, a real bullet sponge, too. And I don't think it was just, like, we figured out how shields worked a little bit in the second play session, but I don't think the boss had a shield. I just think that he was very bullet spongy.
Yeah, his shield was not regenerating.
Yeah.
You just had to get his shield down and then take his health down.
Yeah.
So I don't think it would have helped for us to just come up and try to just, like, shotgun him into oblivion and hope that we didn't die.
Yeah.
We did a lot of dying, listeners.
Yeah, we did.
But anyway, also a lot of good old-fashioned Nazi killing and, like, snorting at each other. The sisters, basically. That feels like the aesthetic, right?
Yeah.
Emma is the nerd sister.
I enjoy that they're kind of big nerds. That is something
know.
I do enjoy about them.
I appreciate that they made a personality choice for them.
Yeah.
That wasn't just, we're gonna go kill Nazis.
Yeah.
That said, I have deep suspicion for the bald man.
Me too. Madelyn has deep suspicion for every character that isn't the two sisters at this moment.
And their friend.
Yes.
Feel pretty safe that their friend is not a Nazi.
True.
So that's been fun. And then, you know what? No, I will talk about the other game that I played after you have talked about Fire Emblem. I'm going to take a quick nap. Emma, you go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to actually have some games to leave before I talk about Fire Emblem. So
you played something? I guess it only came out last Friday,
yes,
so you had a few days.
Within these 2 weeks, I finished Judgment. All my thoughts about it that I said last time are the same. It's really good. It's really fun. the ending comes together really, really well and is really satisfying. It has a lot of deep-seated anxieties about like the aging population that I found really interesting. And the characters have big friendship energy, so just, carrying on the Yakuza tradition in that way, which is nice.
Why does Japan value big friendship energy so much?
I don't know, but I wish more people I wish more countries valued big friendship energy in their media.
Yeah.
So yes, I really enjoyed finishing Judgment. It doesn't feel like it needs a sequel, but it could at the same time. So we'll see what they do with it. And then, after finishing Judgment, I had about like a 5-day buffer before Fire Emblem came out. So, I could have been a rational, normal person and played like God of War or Pathologic 2 during those buffer days. But instead I was like, no, I need something new. I don't want to pick up a game I'm already playing and try to finish it. No, that's not how Emma rolls.
The optimum number of games to be playing at one time is 11.
So I didn't want to spend money either. See, that's the key. But I've been seeing this game on Twitter. That is like a free game made by one guy. That's almost, the updates like every 6 months or so, and is almost done. And there's now an English translation for it, and I've been seeing it around, and people are like, oh, it's Danganronpa Phoenix Wright Zero Escape type game. I was like, I like those games, at least a little. So I went and downloaded it. It's called Your Turn to Die. And I was not expecting to like it as much as I did, I guess I would say.
That's faint praise.
Sorry, I was just watching Madelyn yawn.
No, I was sneezing.
Yeah. No, it isn't really. I got it, and I was like, oh, it's a hard genre to do right? Like, even Danganronpa sometimes, just doesn't click with me. The Zero Escape series after 999 did not really click with me. It's when it's like a sort of death game / escape game, you really have to balance, it's easy for it to feel mean, either, something doesn't feel like, if you don't care about the characters, and the characters don't care about the characters, and the creator doesn't care about the characters. All of those things, everybody has to care about each other, or else it doesn't work. But also, if you care too much, that also ends up feeling mean, right? But it's really good. I'm a little skeptical about the overarching plot of this death game. It feels like it's going to be a little bit too big and weird, which was my problem with Zero Escape. But the character writing is, really pretty stellar. They're all very well motivated, and you like all of them, but also all of them are sketchy AF, right? You really are, care about the characters, but you also would not be surprised if they turned on you in an instant.
Yeah.
Which I think is the right balance to strike in this sort of thing, because then, betrayal doesn't feel like it comes out of nowhere, but it still kind of is oh no, you get that emotion from it.
Yeah.
And I especially really like in all of these, there's some sort of antagonistic force within the players, right?
Yeah.
Of course there has to be. And usually it's just that's just their personality, or they have some sort of ulterior motive or something like that. But in this case, without being too spoilery about it, the person who's antagonistic to you just thinks that you're the antagonistic one.
Ooh.
They don't trust you at all. So of course they treat you like this. Which I think is a really a much more natural way to do that. Like, it's not just like, oh man, they've got some weird philosophical problems or whatever. Like, their philosophy on life is just so incompatible with regular humanity or something like that, which is generally how, like, Danganronpa handles it. It's just like, it's just a normal guy who's come to a conclusion about you based on, honestly, pretty convincing evidence based on, like, what they know, and therefore treats you with suspicion.
Oof.
Which comes off as, like, why are you doing this? But it's like, he's doing it because he doesn't think you're trustworthy, which is nice.
How genre savvy.
Yeah. So I really, and the music is really, really good. Like phenomenal good. So, like, that was reason enough to keep playing it. But anyway, I blew through everything that's currently available, and apparently Chapter 3 will be the final chapter and should be coming out sometime soon. So I'm looking forward to it. And then, of course, we finally get to Fire Emblem 3 Houses. And listeners, it's so good. It's so good. Like, it's kind of problematic how good it is, because, like, there are 3 houses, right? And, like, based on which house you pick, the story is different. But, like, I can't go back and replay as another house, because I can't do that to my Blue Lions. I just love them. I love them. I can't take them away from the Blue Lion house, because they're so happy together, and they love each other so much, and I love them.
I'm almost tearing up.
I'm just thinking about how much I love them. Like, they're all so good. I went into it being like, I'm not gonna like Sylvain, and Mercedes is probably gonna get on my nerves after a while. But no, I love Sylvain. Sylvain is so good, and, like, Mercedes is just, like, our mom. She's just the mom friend, and that doesn't get on my nerves at all. She's just like, oh man, I've got a problem. Mercedes bursts in with tea and food, and it's like, let's chat about it. They're so good. And I recruited,
all of them.
I recruited all of them. I did it. For context, I am now 40 hours into the game. I'm in part 2. And so, I don't think it's a spoiler to say this, but part 1 to part 2 includes a time skip. And I had recruited everyone pre-time skip, and so when everyone came back post-time skip, I was just like, oh my gosh. I'm so honored by the fact that you are just, like, turning away from your homeland to help me because you think I'm good. It's just beautiful. Like, it's crazy. I don't understand, really, the psychology behind it, but something about the fact that, like, I took these kids and helped them set their goals and instructed them every week and ran around the monastery listening to their problems and fought with them, like, you just really get attached to them. Like, you just start to care so much about all their little quirks and issues. It's really brilliant emotional manipulation, I guess, if you're being skeptical about it.
This game is going to single-handedly save the American educational system, as a whole new generation is inspired to become teachers.
If only teaching was just a little bit more like you could watch your kids' numbers go up, you know?
If only.
But yeah, it's very good, and I really love the kids. I would say that maybe the maps are a little bit too easy at this point.
You have
but
70,000 people, though.
Yeah. I am playing on normal, so that probably is partially why. But, like, I can just, like, send Ash, Sylvain, and Felix, and they can just decimate a map by themselves. They can just decimate it.
You've trained them well.
Um, but there's a lot of like really satisfying things going on, like when you realize like for instance, Ingrid and Sylvain, I realized pretty early on that Sylvain had a lot of magic potential and that Ingrid would be a really good Pegasus Knight. So I changed their goals and started sort of instructing them accordingly. And like after a couple months, like Ingrid came up to me and was like, "I want to be a Pegasus Knight. Let's focus on being a Pegasus Knight." I was like, "Yes, you've awakened." And Sylvain was a little bit more stubborn about it. He kept coming up to me being like, "I want to be a cavalier," or "I want to be like a mercenary." I was like, "No, Sylvain, come on, awaken." And finally, like the last couple of months pre the part 1 ending, he was like, "I know this is surprising, but like I've actually got a lot of passion for magic, so I want to study reason and faith." And I cried.
No.
I was like, "Yes, you do, Sylvain. You're so good." they're good kids. They're disaster kids who leave their lost items everywhere, but they're good kids, and I love them. And that's my Fire Emblem summary.
Well, everyone, look forward to another summary of Fire Emblem on our next Side Quest Save Data, where it's just literally Emma crying for 10 minutes. Occasionally, "They're so good," and then more sobs.
They're all so good, and they're all so, like, maladjusted and really need therapy. And all I can offer is the advice box where I sometimes give them advice.
Well, you're trying.
I'm trying. Anyway, that's my save data.
Alright, my last little bit of save data segs nicely into our weather report. So I have this 2-week free trial of PlayStation Plus, which I got pretty much exclusively to play Wolfenstein, but hey, while I have it, I decide that I will try out the online modes of some of the other games that I have, namely Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. This was a humbling experience for me.
Did you get decimated?
I didn't get, like, decimated, but there are some people in there that are serious. And also, it was doing... I don't know why it seems to prioritize picking maps from Nitro Kart and not Crash Team Racing. Because I'm much better at the Crash Team Racing maps.
Maybe you can change a setting.
No, it's like, the way it does it is it gives you 3 choices to pick from.
I see.
And then you vote. So, it didn't actually manage... I can't believe I'm going to say this. I didn't even manage to win a single match.
Wow.
I did manage to come in second.
That's good.
But yeah, did not manage to win. So, crushing. So maybe I will go back to it. I was earning what seemed to be a lot more coins in online mode, which brings me to the weather report. So this week, there was a fair bit of controversy when it was announced that with the start of the next Grand Prix, which I believe is soon if it hasn't already happened, Crash Team Racing will be introducing microtransactions. That's right, folks. As opposed to the in-game store being exclusively based on currency that you can only earn by racing or doing battles and all that, you can now buy the currency to buy those things. And there was a lot of outrage from people about this because everyone hates microtransactions now, one, but mostly because this is something that had not been advertised as coming at all. And folks were worried that now the coins, which already take a ton of grinding to get, were going to become even grindier to encourage purchasing coins with your real-world money. People were also upset because I didn't even realize this before I was reading Twitter about it, but apparently you have to put on your box that microtransactions are included in your game.
Yeah.
And all the boxes are already out there.
Yeah.
And the game has already sold, like, millions of copies.
Yeah.
So, my weather question is...
I wonder if there's... I wonder if there's anything in those, like, 47 pages of terms and conditions that you had to scroll through before
No
the game
doubt
started.
there was. Likely feel like there was. Putting 47 pages of terms and conditions at the front of your very casual multiplayer racing game Anyway, my point is, my weather question is whether companies are ever going to figure out how to do this right.
Yeah. I mean, the plus side, and I don't know, maybe they'll change this also sometime down the line, but Crash Team Racing's in-game shop is all, like, cosmetic type stuff. Like, yeah, you can get new characters, but they have the same stats as other characters you can just unlock. It's just a matter of, like, I want to race as cute Bandicoot or whatever. So I have, like, less problem, like, honestly, almost no problem with, like, cosmetic shops where you know what you're getting. Right?
Yes.
Like, my list of, like, problems with loot boxes go cosmetic items where it's clear what you're getting and you get what you get. Cosmetic items where it's a loot box and it's random what you get. Game enhancing, like, you know, extra damage or extra speed type stuff where you know what you're getting. And then game enhancing, loot box, randomized type stuff. That's like my sliding scale of loot box problems.
That's fair, and I think that that's a good kind of ethical distinction to draw. And that has tempered my grump about it some. But as someone who, I don't know if we're going to continue PlayStation Plus or not. I'm going to have to think about it. Quickly Boyfriend has not demonstrated an interest in wanting to play Monster Hunter online, so we probably will wait until we have some kind of other online game that makes it feel worth it. But as someone who's mostly racing, like, local co-op, I get, like, 30 to 60 coins a race.
Yeah.
Roughly. So it's going to take me, like, 20 races to get to the minimum, to get to the point where I can unlock something.
But that's how it already is, right?
Well, when I was racing online, for some reason, maybe it was because I was online for the first time, I had, like, a 5 times coin multiplier. So I was actually getting several hundred coins per race.
Yes. I mean, I know that the online mode gives you more coins. I think that's I don't have a problem with that. I think that's a way to encourage people to play online, which, like, does include spending money, but, you know, that's how they maintain the ecosystem of this game, right?
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily have a problem with earning more coins online than you do local.
No, I don't have a problem with that. I'm just saying it's really grindy when I'm playing by myself already.
Mm-hmm.
And to think, oh, they'll probably over time scale. Because the number of coins you get per race feels pretty random to me.
Yeah.
You seem to get more for placing higher, but that doesn't always feel like the case, and I can't...
I wonder if it's based on your time.
Maybe? I don't know. I haven't been able to discern what the rationale is for how many coins I get, which feels like an excellent way for Activision to slowly scale down the number of coins that you get without anyone really being able to notice. If any of this was coming from companies that I had any confidence would not, mess up your coin rate for normal players, then I'd be like, okay, yeah, whatever. Like, of course, if you want to save time, you should buy some coins. That's fine. It's fine to have that option. But it's hard to trust that they won't be trying to drive people to that on purpose. Yeah. And there's not a whole team analyzing how they can do that without people revolting.
I mean, my biggest issue is the fact that there are now lots of boxes out there that aren't advertising their microtransactions, because that's, like, a legal thing.
Yeah.
Like, you can say, like, there's probably a loophole here, which is why they're doing it, in that the newly printed boxes will have the warning on it. But there's all these not newly printed boxes that are still out there. But technically, when those were produced, they didn't have microtransactions, right?
Yes.
Like, that's probably the legal little loophole that they're working with. If I had to guess, I'm not an expert on these issues. But it feels, even if, like, their microtransactions are mostly harmless, it feels a little slimy, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like if you're a parent who bought this for a kid and you were hoping that because there are no microtransactions, your kid would stop bothering you for money. And then suddenly there are microtransactions. Like, that's frustrating, right?
But it's also tricky because something I have been very excited about Crash Team Racing is that they're gonna be continuing to pump out free new content for a while.
Yeah.
Which is exciting, especially in a game that offers technically, I mean, the Nitro Kart tracks are pretty new to me, that technically really offers no new content.
Yeah.
Right. So it was cool to race on. I'm not very good at it, and I don't think it's because I don't have 10 years of experience on it. But the new track that they released with the Grand Prix, it was like, oh, this is exciting, like a new track. And the Grand Prix challenges were kind of fun to try to complete, even though I couldn't do any of the online ones at the time. And all of that, and like there are new characters to unlock, and that was like all kind of fun. And it was exciting that I wasn't going to have to pay for it. And so on one hand, I get that we can't, if we're going to expect this kind of like every month new content from the game or from any game, there needs to be a revenue stream for that.
Yeah.
But also, part of me is like, okay, so this game was $40. Charge me $60 for the game instead.
I don't know if that would be equivalent.
I have no idea. Obviously I have no idea what the kind of money coming in from microtransactions looks like for these games relative to sales.
It's not just even like amount of money, but I'm sure they talked about how much they wanted the game to cost, and if it had been $60, would it have sold as well? Like, or would like the fact that it's a remake have like been like $60 for a remake, really?
That's true.
So, even just like adding those $20 to the base price means that maybe you have a smaller customer base, which means that your online mode doesn't work as well.
I would love to read an article about the economics of these, and
yeah,
because it always comes across as slimy and greedy, even though because I know that developers are not really getting paid more because of these transactions, probably. But that's just sort of my assumption. My assumption is it's just like, oh, like, we already made money on the game, let's, like, line our coffers. For games like this, where it's not free to play.
Yeah.
Because it's hard for me to
imagine.
think
that it becomes more and more difficult, especially when you have to keep updating a game with new content. Right, because that's, like, it comes out, sure, and you make the money, but generally you're just, like, you're making the money that it took to already make the game. But then you still have developers working on it for another year, 2 years, 3 years. Like, this game as service new attitude in the industry of having games be your life and you never stop playing that game means that, you get a lot of, you have to either do DLC, or if it's free updates, then how are you making money off those free updates? Because that's lots of developer costs that you're making for something that doesn't cost any money. And like, maybe adding new stuff brings new players to your game, so that could be a little bit, but how much of that actually is covering the amount of work people are doing? So, like, and that's just from me, who is not very good at math or economy or anything like that. But those are all the problems I can think of, just like right off the bat, when it comes to freely updating a game for years.
I would just like to see the budget. I would be really interested to see the budget for a game that, it's like it's paid and then it's free updates for like a year. That I would just be curious.
Sure.
Because I don't really have a good sense of like how much money does a game that's sort of successful but not a like giant blockbuster, like how much money does that game make?
Yeah.
I don't have any idea. That said, they got another news cycle out of this for a game that is now over a month old.
Yeah.
So
that's true too.
Ultimately, who is the winner here?
Anyway, that's been the weather report.
Which brings us to the off-topic corner.
Settle in. Pull up your beanbag.
wrap a cozy blanket around you. Don't worry. We know it's August, but the AC is blaring. It's nice and chilly in here, so you can bundle up.
Nice.
Just the way we like to do in the summer.
So we've got some logistical stuff for our off-topic corner this week.
What an exciting pitch. This week in the off-topic corner, logistics.
What I mean to say is that this lovely side quest formula that has worked so well for us for a very long time, it is time for it to be sent to the farm upstate, partially.
The farm upstate is still available in our feed. So
Yes.
you can always visit the farm upstate for, in the past.
Yes.
That metaphor fell apart for me.
that was a little much. Little stretched beyond. But we've been talking for a while about wanting to shake up the side quest formula a little bit, because, we always like to do that every once in a while, and we've been doing this one for a long time. And we think that we sort of settled on something that will be fun for a bit. I kind of want you to explain it, just so I make sure that we're on the same page.
Nice. Thanks. I was waiting for that. I could see, Fire Emblem teacher Emma, batting it up and be like, achieve your goal, Madelyn.
If you get a perfect, I'll praise you. So let's go.
So what we're going to be doing is we kind of have a 3 side quest cycle. So starting next week, and not next week, 2 weeks from now, I already bobbled my perfect. Starting in 2 weeks with our next side quest, we'll start this new format. So there'll be one led by me. I'm going to explain what this is in a minute, but I want you to know what's staying the same before I talk about what's changing. So There'll be one that is sort of led by me. 2 weeks later, there'll be one of this new side quests that is led by Emma. 2 weeks after that, we will talk about our save data. Our every third round side quest, we're just going to be expanding our what have we been playing to a full-length side quest where we can really talk about those games in a little more detail. Also, hopefully, over the course of the 6-week span, as opposed to hearing every 2 weeks from me for a year, I played an hour of Persona, you'll actually be able to hear about a variety of games that we've been playing and how we've liked them over time, and maybe I can set a goal for myself to try to finish a game every 6 weeks, which would be a big milestone for me. That's never going to happen, but still, you'll hopefully get to hear a much more variety of game and a little more in-depth analysis, as opposed to, for me anyway, I played a couple hours of this and a couple hours of that. And for Emma, she hopefully will have other things to talk about than Fire Emblem.
I don't know.
Maybe.
We'll see.
But you're not here to hear too much about the old stuff. You're here to hear about the new. So if you've been listening to the podcast for at least the last couple of months, you'll know that while Emma and I were away in Japan, we filled in the side quest that we missed because we hadn't been playing any games, and also we were, did you hear me, in Japan. We filled it in with a kind of a special side quest that we had pre-recorded that was a discussion based on a presentation that we gave at the Popular Culture Association conference about gameplay mechanics and how they can support storytelling in games, and a methodology for evaluating how they affect certain story choices. And go listen to it. We talked about it very eloquently, and it was nice.
Yes.
And we got some good feedback on that kind of side quest from various channels, and also we just enjoyed doing it. And we realized that although we've loved doing these kind of news magazine segments, we were always kind of watching the ticking clock and being like, oh, we've been doing the weather report for 20 minutes now, probably should move on.
Sorry about this really long episode, by the way.
Yeah. We've not really been watching the clock this time. It's fine. The stuff at the end will be short. So we realized that it would be a lot of fun for us to be able to have full side quests to devote to talking about a single issue. Because another sort of successful side quest we feel like we had recently is when we talked about just the horrible maelstrom of stuff gone wrong on Twitter a month ago or whatever that was now. So what we're going to be doing is, in alternating side quests, Emma and I are going to be picking a topic that we want to discuss Emma said in a little bit more of an academic way. I don't want to say that, I don't mean that in a scary way.
Yeah.
Just that we will have actually done some research about it, as opposed to, I mean, we do research, but as opposed to literally just our opinions. We'll be presenting our opinions, but also talking about what's out there in the discourse, and some thoughts and theories and whatever, depending on the topic, that other people have thought about.
Yes.
So I'll be picking the first one. I am still mulling over exactly what I want it to be, but you can bet that we are going to announce it in our main episode next week, and we'll see how this new format kind of works out.
Yeah, I'm excited to try it. Good job, Madelyn! Good job!
Oh my gosh, I was afraid. I was afraid you were going to be like, okay, on to traffic. Anyway, on to traffic. Beep, beep. Keep making sounds. I have to check the blog.
Woo!
What vehicle is that?
I don't know. I'm trying here.
Alright, so this week on the blog, I think we actually got back, after promising it for months, to normal posting.
Yeah.
We did! On the blog, you have 2 editions of Clickbait Boyfriend. One with his adventures in Winnie the Pooh land, aka the 100-Acre Wood. It does have a name. And one where he ventures into the world of Frozen for the first time. That's right, people. Clickbait Boyfriend has somehow managed to avoid watching Frozen. Any of it. And explores with Sora, Donald, and Goofy in tow. So check those out. Also, we have 2 editions of Split Screen. I'm looking at the cartoon for the latest one, and it's scary. It's not. It's really good, but, like, you look freaked out. I'm smooching.
It's supposed to be sparkles in my eyes, but I sort of gave up halfway through.
These faces have gotten much more elaborate. They're so good. So go and check them out for the cover art alone. Split Screen. We are very, very close to finishing up Boys Over Flowers. So if you want to catch up on all 43 volumes, now is the time.
Yeah.
You know, I always think, like, oh, it'll take someone a long time to catch up, but I've watched, like, 5 seasons of different animes with Clickbait Boyfriend, like, this week. So you can catch up if you feel the need.
Yeah.
Also, a call for suggestions. Suggest something to us to replace Boys Over Flowers that features some of that K-drama, big drama friendship energy. And also, if you have a good platform for simultaneously streaming video for 2 people who do not live in the same city these days to watch said video roughly once a week and then discuss said video for a blog post, a friend of mine is looking for something.
I did get an email from Cast, which we were trying.
Too.
That was just like we were having some technical difficulties because there's new people here. So maybe it will stop the infinite loading it was doing last time we were looking at it.
So this is just an advance warning that Split Screen, depending on when Emma and I can find time to, maybe late next week.
Yeah.
Hopefully not, but it just depends on if we can find a video platform that's going to work.
Yeah.
So also, in traffic, as always, you should follow us on social media. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Talk This Podcast, and we're on YouTube at Talk This Sisters. Always all sorts of good content there. Game thoughts, sharing the blog, sharing the episode, just general ramblings, and videos if you're on YouTube. You can always check out all the archives of Emma's Play This series, which is excellent and might give you a little bit of an idea of the kinds of things that we might be talking about in our off-topic corners sometimes. It was the off-topic corner in this episode. It will not be called that. I need to come up with a good pithy video game name for the new side quest format, but in the new side quests. Also, I just got a notification from Twitter that you liked something on our Twitter. Did you do that just now?
Maybe.
No! Emma, you can't
I forgot to like the Split Screen post. I'm sorry.
So, be like Emma, get on Twitter and start liking stuff, literally as you're listening to the podcast. once you followed us and I'm still being like, follow us, just go ahead and start liking things, and I'll know that I've been rambling too long. You should also subscribe to the show. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, Overcast, Pandora on the app. Any podcast directory that you prefer, we are no doubt there talking this. So while you're there, leave us a rating and a review so other people can join the Talk This family. Friendship circle.
Big friendship energy area.
The energy field. And tell your friends, and actually invite people in your friendship energy field to come into our friendship energy field. And share the show on your social media. We really appreciate it. Which brings us to our question of the fortnight, which is going to end in tears for Emma. So this week's question is, which Fire Emblem child is your favorite?
I'm kind of curious as to what you're going to say, because, like, did you look at them? Like, how are you judging this?
Kroomba.
Cool?
Kroomba.
Kroomba?
You probably haven't gotten there yet.
Who's Kroomba?
It's like 70 hours in.
What?
It's Crom's child who's part vacuum cleaner.
Why are you like this? Just, like, pull up an image. All Fire Emblem 3 hour has
My favorite is Sylveon.
Sylvain?
Umbreon. Vaporeon.
Madelyn, okay, while I'm answering, just pull up, like, a picture and tell me which one, like, draws you in immediately, okay?
Okay.
Well, I love all my kids, okay? All of them. But I feel like because they were with me from the beginning, I have to choose one of the original Blue Lions. So that puts people like Caspar, Marianne, Dorothea, and Bernadette out of the running, even though I adore them and I adore all their friends. But I have to choose one of the OG Blue Lions because they are my precious children. And there I can't make a choice, okay? Like, Dimitri, he eats weeds. He has unexplained super strength where he just, like, snaps lances in half when he's surprised. He teaches orphans how to use the sword. He's just a good, troubled little boy. And Dedu is really into gardening, and he's really loyal and devoted and dedicated, and he's very reliable, and just a quiet sense of strength. And Annette can't cook, loves to sing. She's just the quirkiest little cute girl, and she is so supportive of everyone around her. Mercedes, the mom friend, I said again, she just will be there for anybody whenever they need trouble. Dimitri's going through a rough time right now, and she's like, I want to invite him to tea so he feels better. And I was like, that's beautiful,
You're not
Mercedes.
answering the question.
And Sylvain, he flirts too much, and he really breaks people's hearts, but just because he has crippling insecurities about himself.
Emma, they can't listen to the show.
But he's so kind, and really when he goes up to people to talk to them, like, they think that he's up to something no good, but he really just honestly genuinely wants to tell them how cool he thinks they are. And Felix is a bit of a troublemaker. Okay, I'm sorry.
This episode is already 17 hours long.
The point is I can't pick any of them.
Can you tag just this episode as, like, a parenting podcast?
I didn't even mention Ash and Ingrid. Oh boy.
Okay.
They're all so good.
So I'm looking at the Fire Emblem 3 Houses Deadometer that someone made.
Deadometer?
Yeah, it ranges from 0 of incapable of dying and 10 dead all along. 5 is dies after the campaign is over.
Okay.
There's a guy at 6, which is dies in the first level, who's, like, kind of big, oafy, blonde-looking dude.
Raphael.
Is that Raphael?
Is he bursting out of his shirt?
It's just their heads.
Okay, I think
But
it's
he looks like he
Raphael.
might be.
He's a good, sweet boy who looks after his sister and really likes to eat and work out. And thinks that. And whenever you're troubled and come up to him, he's like, let's eat and work out, Professor.
So I have somehow picked the one that is the protein guy from Agretzko.
Yes, he's the protein guy.
The, oh my god, the Body Improvement Club man.
Yes, he's Body Improvement Club.
And the, like, wanting to eat all the time also reminds me of Clickbait Boyfriend. So that was maybe a good pick. There's also a guy who's kind of scary looking. He's got, like, kind of a... I think this might be them older. I don't know. He's got kind of a beard. It's gray. He's like...
I'm not sure who that is.
He's like beard all over. Gray beard. No?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Then we'll stick with protein.
Yeah. It's a good choice.
Well, folks, thanks for tuning in for this very special Fire Emblem episode of Talk This.
It's dangerous to podcast alone.
I'm your host, Madelyn, still able to go somewhere without carrying my Switch around.
I'm Emma. I will never put my Switch down ever again.
And thanks for listening. Next week, we'll have a main episode in our usual format, nothing changing there, about some games.
Yeah, I forgot to look up what they were, too.
Not Fire Emblem.
It's not Fire Emblem.
No Fire Emblem discussion.
I will not talk about Fire Emblem. I will contain myself.
But there will be 2 games that we will talk about and then mash together. And then tune in 2 weeks for the debut of the new side quest format.
Heck yeah. It'll be fun. Be fun and exciting.
Alright, I'll do the sign off this time.
Let's do it.
I hope you all have a week that is full of big friendship energy.